Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Major. It is time to get ready for our second round of games, both here and on our Bravo stream as well. Moving into our next group, of course, we're going to see the other two teams outside of this one playing into our games on the B stream as well. Let's focus things up, though, as it is going to be the Dire Wolves going up against Mirage for our matchup here on the main stream. Stokes, let's get your initial take on things going into this matchup.
Well, it's going to be a war in between these two, I think. Mirage haven't had the best of straights here at the Major thus far, have they? Haven't even gotten a win under their belt, and they're looking for it here today. Their odds are extremely low to make it to the main stage, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a chance, right? That's the big thing here. I talked to Jesse Mohesi last night a bit, and he seems pretty hyped up. He's ready to try and get a win here at this event. Let's see if they can do it up against Dire Wolves, who John just got off of beating a team on Skyscraper yesterday in a pretty convincing fashion. FaZe in a 7-3 fashion.
Yeah, surprise victory for the Dire Wolves. They're able to shut down FaZe in pretty convincing fashion. Indeed, 7-3 going out into their favor with a lot of prowess showing up specifically for one player in particular. Reaps having an absolutely fantastic game, shutting down those FaZe members. We were seeing the Sonics do in the last matchup as well there. But going to need to repeat this once again as the Dire Wolves and Mirage are at potential risk of outright elimination inside of this matchup. Obviously, Mirage are in a much worse position right now on everything except for a regulation time victory. They will be eliminated. Even if they win this game in overtime, that will still lock in their elimination. So they need to go for an outright win here to be able to stay in the tournament. And even then, if FaZe wins their game over on the other stream, they will still be eliminated even if they win this game in regulation.
And that is going to be Wolves versus FaZe once again over on the B
Euro Wolves.
Yes, the Euro Wolves. We have to make sure. Well, obviously the Dire Wolves are with us, so you know we have them split up this time around. Yeah, it's so funny they actually ended up in the same group. But either way, yeah, I think going into this match, this is going to be quite an interesting one, especially from the Dire Wolves' perspective. If you look all the way back to the very beginning of this tournament when they first played Skyscraper up against FaZe, they lost 7-1, John, but they quickly hit the books, bounced back, win it 7-3 yesterday. They now have to try and get another victory off of our squad here, Mirage, as they had already taken a dub on them before. That one going the way of almost said damn one there. Dire Wolves in 7-5 fashion over on Theme Park of all places.
To talk more about the Dire Wolves, you don't need to see them play in any massively explosive fashion in this game. I talked about before how they are potentially up for elimination here if they don't play this up. Hold on. We got a Hot 6 challenge fun fact. The hottest sauce to use while filming the episodes of Hot 6 apparently had a Scoville rating, which is apparently how hot things are, of 350,000 plus units. We know it's child's play, but we had to go easy on our players. We don't want any unnecessary bathroom breaks during the group stage there. So for anybody who was curious about how hot those sauces get, there's your Scoville rating for all you hot sauce aficionados out there.
For those that just know peppers, that's about 3 times hotter than a habanero. Those are about 100,000.
Well, look at you.
I know my sauce.
You're apparently an aficionado.
You never seen Hot Ones? Huh? Come on, man.
Watch every once in a while.
Get on your stuff here. You know, it's a pretty good show. Plus, I just really like hot sauces. Actually, Parker and I have actually tried the Last Dab before, and it was fun. It was about 15 minutes of hell, but it was fun. You know, like I had a pretty good time, and it actually doesn't taste that bad. You know, all in all, I'd probably say I'd do it again. Definitely wouldn't eat it on a meal, but
probably wouldn't do like a whole wing in it.
I'd eat the whole wing just to say I did.
Spicy, literally.
Yeah. I mean, hey, maybe I get to eat the meatballs next. I don't know. I might be talking too big of a game, and production will force me into something that I didn't really want.
Well, so talking more about the Dire Wolves here and their potential risk going into this matchup. For the most part, they just need to avoid a regulation time loss here, and they'll be in an okay position. It's important to note that even if they lose this game in regulation time, there's a couple other factors that will need to come into play first before they are confirmed for elimination. As everybody probably knows, they're probably a little confused, like, how are they at risk here? But there is a possibility of that in play. We'll talk more about that later if those conditions come
there
true.
Is no way that this is what's happening.
They really took the risk on that, didn't they, Mirage?
This is crazy, especially after what we saw at a Dire Wolves yesterday on Skyscraper. I mean, Mirage, Mohesi. This is, I have no words for this. We're going back to Skyscraper for a third time here from Dire Wolves. I think we really need to deep dive on what happened with this FaZe game yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely the case. I mean, the good news here for Mirage is going to be the fact that, of course, there's plenty of VOD to look at for the Dire Wolves, and maybe that's the reason why they felt confident to go back to this one. Really hitting their stride over the past day as well for Mirage, feeling a lot more confident about themselves. First day, of course, not the best, but now they're feeling maybe with the VOD they have on Dire Wolves from the previous days, they may be able to best them, but with the way they played against FaZe last night, I'm not sure. That's a big risk in my opinion.
Now here's the one caveat to this. They have played Skyscraper the most now out of any team here, Direwolves. Mirage, they haven't shown this map a single time. So if they were going to be going off of anything, they'd have to be going off of stuff that happened in the NAL. And I don't remember Mirage playing it all that often from memory. So Direwolves, more than likely a very minuscule amount of VOD to go off of when considering this match. Let's see what you all think at home. It's 77% going in favor of Direwolves. Expected after what we all saw yesterday on the Bravo stream, but that doesn't matter anymore, does it? Skyscraper is now, for the third time for the Direwolves, for the first time for Mirage, and no longer a Nook, the most banned offensive operator here in Jönköping.
Into it, ladies and gentlemen, see what the second ban is going to be. DW making their selection here now, as Mirage has already chosen to knock out Nook. Ying is going to follow that through. So I think these are echoing the same exact bans from Direwolves' game on this map last night so far from the attacker side. Defender side, I don't reckon it would be any different either. These have been pretty static for the most part here for these maps. But actually, no, we're going to shift a little bit. I believe we had Mira when Direwolves played onto this map yesterday. Now we're going to shift that over to K. This one, more than likely for Mirage, is going to end up being a zombie. But let's see if they want to take the risk of leaving it in. They do have the defensive starts. They could risk it, but no, they're not going to take that chance. They will ban her out.
All right, you want a little Siege trivia while we're opening things up here for this game? All right, awesome, John. I'm happy that you're willing to play. Welcome to the game, my friend. We have two maps in the current map pool here at the Rainbow Six Major that are at a perfect 50-50 split for the defensive win rate. What maps do you think those are?
I'm going to say this map after the game yesterday.
Very nice. That is one of it. It is Skyscraper.
And then Clubhouse?
Ooh, you were very, very close. Would you like to try again?
No.
Okay, Clubhouse,
Tell me.
51%.
Okay.
So by a hair. Border, actually, of all maps.
Makes sense.
50% defensive win rate. So, a little fun fact to start us off there for the day. Mirage is going to be starting things off on defense. Direwolves on offense. And as we were just talking about, 50-50 shot, Mirage. A coin flip is all it's going to take to see if you can win this one out. And some differentiating strategies from what we've seen in the past of Skyscraper. We're going to have a bandit here, and he's going to be holding up the karaoke wall. This is more like it, though, as they extend things out towards the east and try and hold this center terrace hallway sort of ordeal with Drum as well as Shrine on the other side. It's really, really potent for the defensive end. You can have a really big stand up against the offense here, delay a lot of time, drain a lot of utility if things play accordingly. But past that, Direwolves now out and on to the field. Pika, as I learned yesterday, his name was actually Pikachu at one moment in time. So it's not Pekin, as you and I have thought for years at this moment. But yeah, so you learn something new every day, and so are Mirage. So there's going to be a glass on the board here.
So go back to Stokes' question about the 50-50 split in terms of map win ratio as well. The reason why I was able to guess Skyscraper because when Direwolves played this map yesterday, we generally expect this map to be quite... Hold on. We got the first frag coming in, and it's going to go directly towards Reaps because of the fact that we were seeing him bring this prowess to the table yesterday. Generally, this is an attacker-sided map, but because of his play, as he scores a second kill alongside all of the other efforts Direwolves were able to put on the defensive side, they subverted that expectation for this map to be attacker-sided. It's a shutdown so far here from DW inside of the first round, as already Mirage are down to just 2 players.
All right, Mirage, no takesies, backsies. We're playing it out now. We can't switch up the map. Direwolves already on a burner. Brenji, he's going to be able to take down Pika. Direwolves at least suffer 1 loss inside of this opening round, but looks like that's going to be it as Reaps. My God, it looks like we're doing it again. Little dance, a little jig for the man, a little jive in his step through Skyscraper, as it was a nice double to start things off. I love that transition to the angle on Black Stairs, but he finishes it off with a quad.
Like a moment of celebration, like, yes, the entry power is just as good as it was yesterday. We're going to close this.
I'm still good at video games, yes! Me at 2 a.m. after I've lost like 8 in a row and I finally get my dub.
Obviously, again, Reaps, we talked about a little bit about this in the pregame, that Reaps was very much the X factor for me, at least for Direwolves in their game versus FaZe yesterday, and seeing him perform like that in the very first round, already picking up a quad in round 1 is a very, very good sign for the Direwolves and APAC fans at home, in my opinion.
Don't forget about Pika and Jackie Wu as well. They were some some big components of that victory when Reaps couldn't be there at certain moments. The map's pretty big, right? You can't be everywhere at once, so you have to have some other people picking up those pieces, and he's definitely got that supporting unit. The others obviously on a little bit of a drone duty, especially for ED's sake. Souffle throwing his hat in the ring every once in a while yesterday, but not lighting the world on fire, just getting things done when necessary.
We are on for a retry upstairs, of course. The Mirage going to be going for this one yet again, calling that last round a bit of a fluke because of the entry power coming in from Reaps. Might not want to rely too heavily on that thought pattern, however, as Reaps was consistent as ever in yesterday's matchup, and there's no reason to believe he would depart from that, especially with the result from the first round here. Who for Mirage will now step up the challenge? Will it once again be the new pickup in Dexter, as we saw him do so during the regular season of the NAL? Will someone else we saw in their more recent matchup, Melted, potentially coming in here with a big impact as well? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, Mirage with the ego check here. As you said, they're going to head back to the same site and see if they can finally find some success. Benji's going to be back on the Bandit, and they're trying to slow up this offensive early here. You can see how they're playing the pressure all the way over to the east side. They want to hold up the single panel here for the office area. Make sure that they can't start their aggression from this point. So they'll have to try and search on their avenues. So they're going to be working in down on the base level, also transitioning across the roof, trying to get on some of these balconies. They sorely need some EMPs on this end. Actually, they really need the thermite rather. Zdokabi's already here, but ED's a little late to the party as he was trying to assist with that single panel over towards the eastern front.
Swing coming in, though, as we are going to see the micro EMP work its way out. ED will be able to pop open the first wall. They need to access the interior here. Not going to see any interruption go down in that, so Geisha will be lost in just a moment here, as Benji more than likely not going to be able to maintain this position for too much longer here. Once the drones start flooding in, it does not look like he has any immediate support from his teammates. Could be someone sort of lurking out behind him here who's going to try to hold on to this for as long as possible, but yeah, no one else in a supporting role at this point. So when the flood comes in from DW, he will have to depart here. Nade's coming out as well, but going to miss the mark. No damage done to anyone on Mirage. Just a little bit of HP chunked off of Benji there, it looks like.
The Lion-Dokkaebi duo, one that has stood the testament of time, is one of the most annoying lineups you can bring to the table. Really puts a spanner in the works for the defense. Really difficult for them to try and get anything done. As the offense is going to continue to power up. Oh, Reaps, he's going to want that one back. Milliseconds separated him from his first kill in round 2. Mirage, a bang-up job of delaying this time around. It started from the east. It's worked west for Dire Wolves as they're finally trying to get a foothold here on the top of Black Stairs. Reaps will continue to hold this down. Jackie Wu looking for one when it comes to the temple window, but it'll be Pika that strikes first onto Mohesi. Looks like Dire Wolves still firing on all cylinders from yesterday. Mirage, they can't hold a candle to this flame. Dexter, he'll shut down one, but we're going to need a lot more out of our powerhouse player. Going to need more than likely a triple out of him to really bring this back under wraps. Melted, he's got a chance. Dexter with 2 here, but now it's all up to Melted in this 1 versus 3.
Jackie able to bait out his teammate a little bit there in order to get the exchange going against Dexter. Melted, now the lone player here. Not going to be able to stop the plant from going down. The timer now ticks in the other direction. He nearly takes out the planter on the way across with that spray. Ultimately, though, to be cut off by another member of Dire Wolves coming in from the top of the stairs. They end out the round and lock in a 2-0 lead here with 2 consecutive victories on Tea and Karaoke.
I hope this isn't too shocking to some of your ears that this is what we're about to discuss, but when do you want to use this timeout here for Mirage?
I mean, give it, I'd say just complete the rotation and call it at this point.
Yeah, I'm saying either that or step. I mean, you have access to your full rotation. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they doubled down on that site. So I don't know if you go for the full site rotation, because if you do, then you're going to be down 4 rounds potentially, right? So
if they had just gone directly to the second site, I would say let it play out to round 3 and then be able to deploy towards it that way after this round, potentially call for a pause. But yeah, kind of agreeing with you more now on the fact that they went for the double play on Tea and Karaoke and it pretty much had the exact same result. They can play maybe this one extra site, but I don't realistically think they should go for a third here. Probably a good idea to call for a pause now if things continue to go rough on this other site.
Wholeheartedly agree with you. This has really made things pretty weird for Mirage. I like and respect the ego check, especially with how they played things over towards that east side. Once again, fantastic delay tactics, but when it came to the frag department, there's one team standing alone here.
Alright, let's see if Direwolves will be just as proficient on these other sites. It's just going to be the other second floor hold for Mirage as they move across the way towards the office instead. For the players at Mirage, there's also going to be a pretty dramatic shift in their operator selection as well. Kind of expected, of course, with the new site, but still, every single member of this team, I believe, going on to new pastures here. Is Mahese going to be working his way over onto the Bandit. We'll also have the Frost Mats coming out from Kento. The Mira Shields will also be in play here for Benji, and even the Goo Mines out from Dexter as well. A lot of utility that Direwolves will have to pay mind to now. So it's an attempt, I believe, from Mirage to try and slow down the entry pacing a bit as they get closer to the site.
Yeah, Reap's on pace to match what he had yesterday already. 5-1-0 on the Yana. That's what he was playing during Skyscraper up against FaZe, where he finished with a 1.64 and a 14-6 KD spread. 4-0 on entry as well with a 1.4 KPR and an 80% cost overall in that game. And that is pretty incredible, especially when you're really trying to light the world on fire, you know, in the frag area. So really solid play from Reap so far. We'll see if it can continue on here. Damwon looking to start things off on this east side yet again, but obviously the site over here this time around, so going to be a lot more of a Mirage assault to deal with once they get these windows open.
No actual immediate action going on between either of the members of this team at this point here, as Mirage continue to wait things out much more passively, much more closely leaned into the site. And Direwolves as well playing into their intel game pretty heavily this time around, definitely wanting to make sure they have the full spectrum of information before they begin committing themselves to it. You can see as well this Twitch drone working its way in, sniping out a few defaults every once in a while. If they can get one of the Mirror Shields, that would be great, but could be wishful thinking, because more than likely there is someone standing directly next to those, unless you get a sneaky drone insertion from the back of the room or something and get that long-range shot off. We'll still follow those drones along pretty closely, though, to see if they get lucky and manage to stag on any useful pieces of util.
Solid drone works here from Direwolves. They do not want to overstep their bounds and drop around here to Mirage. Got to play on the Twitch now as well. Should be able to get rid of some of these hard-to-reach pieces of utility, like these bandit batteries or potentially these mute jammers, if he can position himself correctly. It's going to be Reaps yet again here, going for 2 after he takes down Mohesi. Hasn't had the greatest start to the day here for himself, as Reaps has constantly been dominant, but Dexter will finally shut him down and give Mirage a chance at a round. Kento will add to this problem for Direwolves.
Peek out for Pika now. He's been able to take down that Nitro Cell, but not expecting the secondary player. Kento playing from behind that mini desk there. Takes him down, leaving only 2 up and running for the Direwolves, but they're certainly not out of it just yet. Souffle with the first pickup for him personally as he eliminates Kento. Brings it down to a much more workable 2v3. Time is starting to get a little bit low here. Mirage as well playing this very smart. Not giving over any potential peaks unless they absolutely have to, or have it assured that their teammate can trade it off if things go awry. So playing this very, very cautiously, and it's leading to a very, very definitive round for them right now. Souffle moving forward here. Not going to be able to catch the player to his left, and as such, we're able to see a quick shutdown from Dexter to take down Jackie Wu when he hops back into the window. Souffle with another quick pickup, tries to go for an additional one against the man himself that just took down his teammate, but time is ultimately going to run out, and we'll see Mirage claim that final kill just before the timer runs to 0 anyway.
Well, Mirage had the bark in the last round. They finally have the bite with this one as they light up the kill board. Able to get this round under wraps. Thank God for Dexter there, as he's able to shut down Reeves, who looked to run amok at things there from the Dragon Statue area, but Direwolves never really able to make it past that space. Is no real chance to try and put the case down there. They tried to transition back outside after they lost the initial gun battles there, getting it down into that 2 versus 3. But past that, Direwolves just having to give things up. Really no way for them to get any extra insight on the situation. They have to try and propel themselves forward, and they end up losing out the round. Fantastic stuff from Mirage to bounce back after those 2 dominant ones from DW.
Obviously allows for them to avoid the pause for the time being and complete their full site rotation as well. Everything's going a little bit more swimmingly on these other sites, so feeling a bit more confident about themselves. They do, of course, shift now into the barbecue site, which is more than likely the 3rd and final rotation they will make. If they want to play in a bedroom, they certainly can. We'll follow that up on the next round. Big repicks coming in for the Direwolves, however, as they are going to need to adjust their strategy. And an interesting one is showing up specifically for Jackie Wu, as the Montane is going to come out. Traditionally, I've only seen this one used for the tea and karaoke take. We'll have to see, as it certainly could work for this type of push into the barbecue area as well, given the claustrophobic nature of how those halls in that area work around each other.
Absolutely, and we've been able to see how Direwolves has been able to put together some more sporadic lineups and use it to its absolute fullest. We saw them using Sense yesterday in a lot of creative ways, and specifically this hallway actually, so fairly well timed. Yeah, bouncing that projector up that hallway creates like this zigzag formation that's really difficult to deal with. You really got to play it off of audio, and hopefully you can pre-fire somebody attempting to push through. Sense also about to be a 3-speed as well, so better get your practice in with that gun before that ends up changing for them. Reaps is looking for his first kill through the verticality here. We saw this a decent amount yesterday with a couple of the angles that were built up by FaZe and counteracted by Direwolves in a very similar fashion. Mirage finally hitting their stride, it seems, as Benji will pick one up onto Souffle.
Montaigne's starting to cause some problems, and so is Pika as he knocks out Benji, trading out for the earlier loss of Souffle, and the removal, of course, of the Gara hook from this team's utility kit. Away from that, things are going to go a little bit more quieter. Dexter took some heat on those exchanges as well, so he needs to back away from the situation, find himself a position to rotate towards to get back downstairs into a better spot to play this out. Melted as well, contending directly against the Monty here. Gonna have a slight peek onto him a second ago, but not going to be taking those shots. He'll fall back. Kento ultimately, though, able to line up another kill, this time against ED, as Melted also takes down Jackie Wu, manages to eclipse over on top of the Montaigne, shut him down outright, and that's the case down on the ground now as well. Reaps and Pika are all that remain here.
Direwolves was contesting Black Stairs so hard, but Melted able to get away with a lot there. Takes down the Monty, and this round is basically done unless this nade can say something about it. Well, Reaps will open the door again just like that. A 2 versus 3, definitely palatable, especially with how Reaps has been playing. Pika also adding fuel to the flames for Direwolves, as he has been able to get some nice smite. Jesus Christ, that was disgusting from Reaps. Just simply leans into the angle, John, and rips this guy's head off through the verticality. Just exactly what you would expect out of him after what we saw yesterday. Into the 2v2 we go, as Direwolves once again looking to claim a round that they have no business in getting.
Pika going to be found out here, but not outright eliminated as of yet. More so than anything, just kind of evens out the health pools between both teams. So still a very, very close fight, but one that Mirage is starting to lean into winning more and more here as the timer gets lower. Direwolves trying to line up their final play, trying to see what they need to do here. The nade going out, that was going to land directly on top of Melted and knocking him out. Reaps seemingly just cannot be stopped once again as he finds his 3rd kill on this round. Mohesi is all that is left here inside of the 1v2, but he only needs to delay for 10 more seconds, and with a headshot like that, he might just win it, but there's hesitation. He doesn't want to go for it outright. Gets close enough to get him off the case, but the shotgun shell has not made it. He just needs to delay, though. He needs to stop this fight from being a success, and indeed he does. Another round for Mirage up on the board as we're now tied 2-2.
Jesse Mohesi finally stands up to what he was saying last night. He gets some kills on the board. He said he was ready for today. Disappointed with how the first 2 days went. And, I mean, obviously, after what we've seen, Mirage has definitely wanted to do better for their first time visiting an international event. And they've been able to at least muster 2 rounds here up against Direwolves. They've almost tied what FaZe got yesterday against them.
So Mirage with a bit of a fateful decision here is, of course, they're out of sights to play into. So they have no choice, really, unless they want to play over into the bedroom side, and we have to assume they have a strat prep for that as well. They'll have to go back over to Karaoke Interior, where we saw 2 very one-sided rounds back-to-back for Direwolves to start this game off. Mirage, of course, has now rebounded since then with their plays, of course, on the other second floor site on the other side of the map towards the office, and that play we just saw on the last round towards Barbecue. But this is the site that has really vexed them so far and could lead into another exchange of the lead right back into Direwolves' hands.
Yes, indeed. So what Direwolves wants to do here, Jackie Wu has been going through a carousel of operators during this prep phase, and he's finally going to land on Monty. He's handing Thermite over to ED, and Souffle's going to be back on the Twitch. The G36C sisters, well, that's not changing. It's been working too well, especially for Reap's case. Hopefully Pika can continue to pick up some frags around and make things a little bit easier for the rest of the unit, as it really has only been Reaps hitting his stride early here.
Pika will begin the rappel upwards here just to try and establish some crosses into Karaoke's, where he'll be playing on the outside of right now. We did get quite a bit of aggression from Mirage from the inside of Karaoke last time. I think actually ended up besting this player on rappel. Not sure if it was Pika or someone else playing it into the last round, but either way, it was a bit of a challenge here for the Direwolves players in what was otherwise a successful round. So going to be paying a little bit more closer attention at this time. We also have the Hard Breacher here, ED primed and ready to open up the first wall. Pika with an opportunity to try and catch the player that I believe was on the inside of Gage just a second ago, but the timing is not in place for Pika. Does open up an opportunity here for ED just to blast the wall open, though, and give the first point of control on the inside of the building over towards DW.
With this being T in karaoke, this is going to be a pivotal position if Direwolves can gather control of it. It has a nice overwatch for the main hallway that separates the two sites, as well as a transitional spot if you'd like to get towards Drum, but that might be reinforced from Mirage. We haven't really been able to get too much of a look at that panel just yet. We'll see if that actually does come to fruition later on if it's used. Frag grenades from underneath from Reaps again. Nobody home up top. It's going to land on deaf ears. Mirage doing a much better job of staying moving. Being a moving target for Direwolves means quite a bit, as a lot of the stagnation is what's been getting them in trouble. Although it also has seemed like Reaps has had a sixth sense. That timing, incredible. Melted goes down to a frag grenade from Reaps.
Already double digits for Reaps here as well with that frag he just picked up there. That was his 10th, so sitting on an average of at least 2 kills per round if we include this one as well. And we're only just getting started here on round number 5. Still plenty of chances for him to find further impact, much like this player peeking around the corner here right now. Jackie Wu gonna run into some problems. He tries to make his initial entry from the balcony. Just a few ticks, however, being thrown against him from the smoke grenade. Reaps will be bested, however, downstairs as Benji takes the direct duel against him, wins it out, and we see another one picked up here by Dexter now as well, taking the fight head on against this clear by the barbecue side of things, and it's working out to put a huge stop on a Direwolves' momentum.
You want a Mirage round? Have Benji Money started off. It seems like any time that he gets a big kill, the rest of the unit is able to stack up behind him, at least when it comes to this version of Mirage. 2-2, but this round is not looking the same as the prior. Mirage about to string 3 along, not unless Jackie Wu has something to say about it. Have a decent read on where the majority of these players are. Jackie Wu going for an aggressive peek with the pistol of Monty, not able to land his shots though. Where's this case gonna go? They need to find it a home, and it's gonna start now. Impacts on Dexter. This could be the preventive measure, but no, they just have a Pika instead. 2 down players. Kento, you have to save their lives. Direwolves gets the case down, but with Monty here, this could be such an issue. Yes, indeed, you do need to get a friend up, Kento. He's gonna be able to transition back before Monty gets here, but here's another problem. Monty can get past him this door, and he makes it past. Kento, oh my, he's opened it up. Pika, he's been able to get some damage onto Dexter, but now it's a 2v1 for Mirage. They're looking for this 3rd round, and Impact out. It downs him. He's dusted. Mirage collects the round.
Pika goes into the Pokeball, and with that, we're gonna see Mirage close out with the comeback there, just barely closing in on that one as well. Had to work past the Montagne. I asked the question, how are you gonna get past him? And apparently it's Dash right next to him and be able to take him down. Beautifully done by Mirage as they rebound from their earlier losses on this site and have now gone 3 straight back-to-back.
Gotta catch them all, baby. Gotta catch them all, and they have for the last 3 rounds. Mirage. You said it. You said it yourself. If things don't go right this next round after the 2-0 lead from Direwolves on the back-to-back defenses on the T-Karaoke site from Mirage, then maybe they should take their tactical timeout and try and discuss some things. But it wasn't necessary. 3 rounds rattled off in a pretty convincing way. That was a huge clutch there for Mirage.
At this point, it's just a rerun now from them, of course, going back to the originally won site. Over on the office side upstairs here, going to need to be some big changes to Direwolves. Need to find a way to keep these late rounds under control. They weren't having a problem of it with the earlier clears on Team Karaoke, but ever since we switched things up and Mirage found how to abuse their positioning, it's gotten a lot more one-sided here for the North American squadron. Monty's still staying in play, by the way, from the looks of it. Okay, never mind, it's going to be swapped out as we did have a last-second change coming back in here, and another one. A lot of uncertainty on these attacker repicks from DW right now. That's not necessarily a good sign, and we end up with a very strange composition as well. Pika on a Glaz. We're going to have the Gara hook for Reaps. The Monty still in play for EW, a Sense on Jackie, and a Buck for Souffle. This is definitely a comp I've never seen before. So we're going to see them continue to move up onto Repel, though already some of the outside soft breach haven't been taken care of by the defenders, so it's easy work for Souffle here. Able to knock these out and get easy access to the outside. This is somewhat by design from Mirage. They want to contest this and be able to split up Direwolves' initial setup here, stop them from getting comfortable and allow them to get really set up to be able to make this play towards the inside of the immediate area next to the site.
Slow opening here from Direwolves, but I highly doubt it stays that way. As you were saying, this lineup has changed up quite a bit across the board. Pika as well as Reaps, they're ditching the G36Cs, no longer using the Yana. We've got the Gara hook wielding Amaru as well as Glaz back in from the early iteration of this game. Jackie Wu will adopt Sense for the very first time here. This is a op that we saw a decent bit from yesterday for them. We commented on it earlier. It was used over well, actually directly beneath us on the west side as they tried to transition down that black stairway hall. For Direwolves, they're going to be starting things over on the T side. Some barricades set up here for Mirage. Also quite a few traps around to try and thwart ED's plans.
He's moving very, very slowly, however, for both teams. The Direwolves still looking to try and take some of that initial control, and they have certainly done so over on Karaoke's side, but did not really have to fight too difficultly for it in the first place. Mirage still waiting on the closer proximity to the site positions here. As you can see, over towards Drum is where they're really going to start to contest this actual push from Direwolves. So it's all been free up until this point. Only just now will they have to begin actually taking some fights against the members of Mirage here to keep moving forward and get themselves into the actual area where we've got the bomb planted. Away from that, though, a little bit of regression coming out now from the Mirage roster, deeper on the inside of Dragon. They're potentially setting this up for a pinch as well. The spam coming in from Reaps. He's got a lot of ammo to chuck out there, but it's not infinite. Goes back for the reload. The Nitro in position, and it's going to do a serious amount of damage to ED as well, on top of Kento, finally getting that headshot out against Reaps and preventing him from causing some problems later in the round.
Pika with the Glaz. First smoke down. No drones to his name, but it doesn't matter when he's taking the gunfights, does it? Not able to find anybody. Oh, his Legion is placed perfectly. Dexter, the highlight player for Mirage, been loving him inside of NA thus far this last stage as we finally got him in Pro League. It's been such a good time ever since. With 15 seconds remaining, though, it looks like Direwolves might be the one that's out of the fire and into the frying pan. Only a couple of seconds remain as Mirage look to take 4 in a row. What a dominant defensive half. Percentages be damned. They bring it back in such a convincing way.
All right, now, Direwolves, when are you going to take your pause? that's the question.
That's the next one, right?
Obviously, I believe we're about to change half here, so not in the next few rounds, I would assume, as they probably want to let this next half play out just a little bit here before they potentially break themselves from that. And indeed, we move on to round 7 now, so the sides will flip. Direwolves move on to the defensive end of this. You can bet, though, that if this first round does not go well, maybe the second one as well, we will more than likely see that pause come out from the Apex squad here to try and rebound, figure out what is going wrong. Why are they not able to make these entries work as prominently as they were yesterday against FaZe, and what as well may be going wrong on the inside of these defensive rounds if we are to assume they will struggle here as well. Here's once again your playoff qualifying probability. Mirage are actually on a great path right now to potentially save themselves. If they win this game in regulation, they will still potentially be in play to be able to make it out, but you'll notice there is a 9% chance, and even right now with that regulation win, they would not be necessarily safe, because if FaZe is able to close out their game going on in the other stream, that still seals their elimination at the end of the day.
Well, when you're backed into a corner, you have two options. It's fight or flight, right? So Mirage, well, they chose to fight, and it's been working out really well for them at the current moment. The first 2 rounds, it looked like couple of jitters there, really. You know, just trying to get some things figured out, trying to get the day started for themselves. It's been a tough couple of days for them. You know, very happy that they ended up making it here, but when your results just don't back up the hype, then, well, what really is it worth? They'd much rather have all those games back and try and give another shot at this event, but they still have an opportunity, just like we just presented. 9% chance, so you're saying there is one, right? Damn one, they're looking to get aggressive and snuff those out. Trying to play this right off of the double wall here. Souffle will be able to get a drone, but not too much past that as Mirage, they're going to take their time, try and use this drone game to its fullest advantage. They're already down to 7 drones for the overall squad before the first minute is up, so might want to try and play these a little bit closer to the chest, otherwise they risk running out of these at a certain moment.
Direwolves continuing to play a very passive opener here, not wanting to take anything against Mirage, but in part, this is Mirage also playing things back by quite a bit too. Reaps back in charge of things, it seems, as he locks out Dexter to start out the second half here, taking him down and taking no damage in response to that. Souffle also ready for a direct challenge to come in. They never even checked him apparently, or at least missed him on the drone phase there. So Kento falls now as well. A much more definitive start here for the Direwolves. Maybe they've got a bit of fight left in them still.
They tried to get some drones going here. Nothing really happening, nothing doing. Don't really like that we didn't have the combination of the logic bomb there either on that entry. That would have immediately given up the man immediately to the right souffle of that rotation hole that Mirage tried to abuse on the office side. But instead, they're going to head over to the balcony and try and get Geisha open. Transitioning over to the window now is the Thermite. As they'll pop that, Jackie Wu will be on the receiving end. He'll eat a stun grenade, but he's already gotten the heck out of dodge, but not for Benji. He's going to eat some bullets from ED. The Thermite now trying to pick up the pieces. Mohesi has 2. He'll get the first. Hasn't been able to confirm. Won't be able to get the frag. Pistol out here. Dancing back and forth. Nitro Cell out, and he'll be able to at least escape that. Tags him up. We'll do at least confirm the down as well on top of that. It's been some awkward moments inside these last couple of seconds. Mohesi will finally go down Melted. We'll be able to at least transition that into a kill, but with that confirm onto Mohesi, it's now a 1 versus 2 for Melted.
I see Melted working alone here now. He's trying to take down both Reaps and Souffle to be able to still win this round. Otherwise, Direwolves will close the gap and come within 1 round's reach of Mirage's overall scoreline here. Things continuing to tick down on the timer as well. Melted pretty much out of time here. Only 15 seconds left to play this one out. Just trying to see if he can potentially get any one of the Direwolves to get aggressive and challenge him. He'll challenge them instead and ultimately will walk himself into his death as the Direwolves put their right foot down here to start at the second half and quickly bounce back here. Only 1 round behind their opponents now.
Right around the cap of Malusi. Melted so very close to claiming that frag, but can't get it done. Direwolves finally get around after 4 consecutive losses, but they're only 1 round away from tying things up. We saw how dominant they were yesterday when it came to their rounds on defense here on Skyscraper, and really I think that this is where the rubber hits the road for this map overall. They actually ended up winning out against FaZe after a 3-3 split on their offensive side, all because of their defense taking it 7-3. So 4 defenses in a row. Do we see that here again today?
We'll have to find out. It's Mirage again, got quite a few repicks coming into this one here. Spotting something in the Direwolves defense they need to shift their own lineup for, so it's going to be Kento changing up the soft breach operator, just over $2 no dramatic changes there. Benji as well, adding the better execute utility in Osa to the play so that they can walk into the site and potentially set up a plant for themselves. Dexter as well will make sure they can get that wall open in the first place by bringing a Thatcher to the fold now.
Well, there's not a lot of guarantees in life, but Thatcher having EMPs and a Thermite on your team usually guarantees one thing, doesn't it? A wall is getting opened unless somebody really wants to risk it for the biscuit. Get that bandit trick going in there and trying to be active. So, but that's obviously not going to be the case. We don't even have him on the field here. It's going to be Reaps. It's going to be all of the denial. So it should be fairly straightforward for Mirage to work their way around that. They've got the master key to the building. Just got to use it.
He's working its way out, so we are going to begin to see those walls get breached in just a moment here. Plenty of hard breach as well between both the Thermite and the Ace, sitting up on Mohesi, as well as Melted. So plenty of opportunities for this team to be able to work their way forward and open up, hopefully, all of the avenues necessary to get control over the site. Direwolves, the play is now in your court. How do you get aggressive to potentially challenge against this clear, or do you respect it, play it back, and try to take them down on the execute?
It's a very good question. Mirage is trying to be measured with their approach. Keeping the drones much closer to the chest this time around. I'm very happy about that. The last round, they were constantly getting eaten up, especially inside of the first minute. Had less than 6 drones after that minute 45 mark as well. So just we're not doing too solid of a job with those. Not really able to capitalize off the info either. Pika trying to maintain activity over here next to the dry bar. Not too much going on for Mirage. They've been able to get this wall open, but it's really just been angle work from them. They're going to open up the window and try and make things a little bit more congested inside of Direwolf's site.
So it comes to a little bit of a slow walk here now for Mirage, having opened up that angle. Wanting to try and position themselves downstairs as well here so they can crunch onto a little bit more. But here we go. 3 members now getting ready to move in from the upstairs portion of the map, swinging themselves around, ready to potentially hop in through the window by Samurai here now. Members of the other team, are they ready for it? Jackie Wu getting involved in some sprays on the bottom, the top here. Benji as well, striking true, taking down one. The flash going in. Jackie tries to follow the spray through, can't do so. Now he's been blinded out. Is he ready for the window hop? The first one, yes, but there's multiple players trying to work their way in through there. Souffle as well, catching one via utility as he manages to knock out Melted with a Thorn Nade. That's going to eliminate him and leave only 3 up now on Mirage's run.
All quiet after that Razor Bloom claims a life. Reaps, though, will quickly change that. Mohesi gets gunned down. What a shot from Reaps once again. The master of the house stairs. Benji, nothing doing, nothing going. The PDW, it's got a lot of ammo, but he's down to 9 rounds. He's got to trade out this drum, and we have similar feelings about this one, Benji. He's locked outside, and there's not really a snowball's chance in hell that he gets out of this one alive. Damwon tie things up. Damwon. Dire Wolves tie things up from the defensive end. We need to change this DW thing, I'm telling you.
Same acronym. But we will see, of course, the Dire Wolves work their way.
Every year.
Dire Wolves work their way back into it now. Tie us back up after falling behind at halftime, down 2-4. Now resuming the 4-all game here. Looking promising on their defensive half so far, but needing to move all the way over to their tertiary site now, which is still going to be Barbecue. Not the worst site to play into as well for your third. Dire Wolves with a good chance now to take the lead away, so let's see how Mirage will try to best this site, as they're changing their lineup up quite a bit as well, focusing a lot more on maintaining positioning and finding out intel from their opponents, especially with the Nomad and Lion picks there at the bottom.
Really like the line pick coming in here from Benji, making it toward Dire Wolves can't be as active while Mirage are attempting to enter onto the building or claim some entry kills once they get in towards site. That's where Dire Wolves have really stood tall in these defenses, especially for Reap's sake. He's been managing that SMG-11 so well, which is not a slouch of a weapon when it comes to the recoil patterns. You really have to be knowing your stuff, hitting your stride, and making sure that you have those nice little bursts when it comes to some of those longer range gunfights, and he's been knocking it out of the park so far. Souffle going for an early one here as he is standing in VIP. This is the single panel we've seen contested time and time again. He's going to bailiff this, so more than likely somebody's staring at this now, as that noise is usually pretty obvious, so I would be a little worried if I were Souffle. There's absolutely no chance he's going to try and dash out here and take this, right? We'll see if the ace has a sixth sense for this moment. That's going to be melted. Haven't had anybody else rappel up, minus Kento, but he came up from the other end, so won't be as aggressive as, yep, Souffle actually is going to go for that eventual run out, but obviously since he is Oryx, a little bit easier for him to get back inside with that dash, as the soft paneling won't even hold him up.
Breach has been made to the inside of Geisha in the meanwhile, allowing for Mirage to begin clearing out the T and Karaoke extended hold from DW. DW already kind of in the process of peeling this back though, so Mirage not going to have to work too hard for that. The first minute of the round has already gone away. It doesn't really seem like Dire Wolves are going to be too committed to these types of extended plays. Want to use the geometry in the site and the surrounding areas as well. You can play the site horizontally quite proficiently. I think that is going to be the game plan from Dire Wolves. Once the remaining portion of these upstairs players get challenged, they will acquiesce the aggression from Mirage and start to fall back pretty quickly.
This is something that we saw work so very well for Dire Wolves yesterday, the Valkyrie cams from ED, and now it's starting to make a lot more sense as well, isn't it, John? ED actually manages these from inside of T for the entire unit, so Dire Wolves know what are going on all the time around their site. It makes the gunfights really easy for them because they're constantly getting pinged out, although more than likely unbeknownst to them. It's just those yellow pings or Z pings coming through for the defensive units. So Dire Wolves with a nice defensive matrix set up here on this end of the building, and Mirage, nothing doing when it comes to this timer. They're down to the last minute. They haven't even approached that central hallway that we were talking about earlier, and they're already taking considerable damage.
Already things looking rough here, really, for both teams. They try to work their way in, but much worse at the moment, of course, for the DW roster, with Jackie Wu having been downed as of a few seconds prior. Reaps kind of stuck in position here now as well, but behind a soft wall, making it all too easy for Kento to eliminate him once the angle is figured back out. That's basically 2 down now, if we are to assume that Jackie is off on an island, which certainly looks like it's the case down there at the moment. No one going to be able to realistically get towards him and revive him, and there we go. There's the confirmation now with Kento, I believe, entering into that room. Souffle beginning the makings of a rotate and a potential pinch on flank here, but it is something that Mirage should be ready to catch here with the way that they as well are executing. Okay, or not, as, oh man, that punch right there comes just a little bit too late, allows for Souffle to get the kill off on the Dexter just in the nick of time, but it's not going to change the scope of this round in a huge way. We still have Mirage with far too much control surrounding the site, and as such, they will shut it down.
A serious build-up in that round, but it pays off for Mirage. It was getting a little tired there for them as well until they finally landed that grenade. But really what sent it home was the pre-fire through the wall from, I believe, Kento or Benji was one of the two. But either way, a very nice kill coming through the pantry at a time they needed it the most. They missed the secondary frag to try and clean up that player in there, and they really needed to try and open up that door just a little bit more, making it a lot safer for them to push forward and claim what was rightfully theirs.
Flexibly, we're going on to, I'm going to assume this is a tack pause coming in from the Direwolves side of things, so a confirmation of that and see.
Maybe that or a tech pause, we'll find out.
Yeah, it could actually be tech with the way things are looking now. I'm not seeing a lot of talking going on, especially over on the, but they are talking, so pretty sure it is going to be just a tack pause.
I hear the timer.
Yep, so I think we're good. Just tack pause for DW pretty short, as once again, they have been pushed up against a wall a little bit here, especially with that round being lost, bringing it back to a tie point, having the deficit thrown back against them once again. 2 rounds to go for Mirage as well here, and keep in mind, of course, Mirage will be confirmed out. Direwolves can knock one of their 3 potential opponents out of the running here, just if they can take this game to overtime. So that is more than likely the goal at this point for DW. Let's at least attrition this to a 6-6, and then worry about it after the fact.
All right, well, we're back in for round 10. Mirage currently up 5-4. And looking across the board for Mirage right now, one thing stands out that really we don't get all that much of. Kento, 12-6. I'm loving seeing this. I'm usually looking at Dexter when it comes to Mirage for carrying a lot of that frag potential, but Kento is no slouch, and he is really taking it to Direwolves here today.
Indeed he is, and with good reason too, as Mirage need to fight with everything they have in this game to be able to try and survive the gauntlet that has been thrown at them in this group. And even with that potential victory, it may all be a moot point, because remember, in order for Mirage to survive with a regulation victory in this matchup, FaZe also needs to lose their game that is currently going on against the European Wolves on the other stream.
So Kento actually is currently the worst rated player on all of Mirage with a .81. He's -12 for his KD spread and +1 on his entry. I do believe that he actually has the second worst survival rate out of all of them. Melted actually has the worst at 15%. His is 19%, and it's looking like it might get a little worse for him here on this round, as Kento's life essence has almost been nearly depleted, but he has been having a banger of a game so far. In fact, he's really close to really raising this rating for himself, so we'll see if he can continue on this tirade. Still has 2 frag grenades to his name. Really want to see him try and get these out of pocket before something crazy happens to him or just dies a little bit too early from a pre-fire or something like that from Direwolves.
Well, we continue to wait for the opening action from Mirage. Direwolves as well continue to patiently wait this out. Seems like they've gone into a much more passive position in most respects here. I say that, but Souffle getting right up against the window, and as well in a different position across the map. Pika takes the opening duel versus Benji. Kento also being lit up down to about 5 HP. So not the most promising start for Mirage here.
No, not at all. And Direwolves, with that opening kill, have been able to rotate everyone back to site. This is looking so good for them. This is looking like a tied game, if I had to call it at this moment in time, especially with Kento and his HP. Nobody else has been able to really assist him when it comes to these kills. Dexter was getting it done early on, but since then, the moment's passed, and we really need to see him be activated once again. A Nitro Cell outside, nothing really happening. A GG call from Reaps here, as I don't really know what happened with that, and I don't know if he really knows what happened with that. I don't know if he meant to type it in his chat.
I think it's talking about the Nitro he just threw.
Understandable. Have a nice day. Either way, Mirage still trying to work their way in from this side. Not really been able to make much progress past that central hallway when it comes to this top floor. Direwolves still have so many units off of site as well, so they're gonna have to check every corner or risk dying to somebody named Reaps, who's been doing a lot of work, and that's gonna be a double for him, and Melted will pick that up. And obviously that's just shoved Mirage even deeper in this one.
Reaps unfortunately out of ammo on the SMG-11 as well. Their Pika gonna be able to pretty much finish things off here with that pickup against Melted. Leaves Mohesi in a pretty much unwinnable position here. Has to try and go for a direct entry, and he's only got about 10 seconds left to be able to make this work too. So a tough ask here. for the last player alive on Mirage. At least is able to bait the kill out from Pika. It's that one pads the stats a little bit here, but yeah, as soon as he walks in from the balcony door, it's the expected result as he is culled down by the 3 remaining members on DW.
5-5. And this round means a lot more than just, oh, hey, we've guaranteed overtime, doesn't it?
Yep, absolutely the case. And it's important to note, too, that the Direwolves are fighting for their survival as well. There is a real possibility that technically both of these teams were going to end up getting knocked out. I'm pretty sure that with the scores we have over on the other stream and this stream, the Direwolves should be safe for this round. Important to note that they can still very easily be eliminated on the next round of games, but for this round of games, I believe they are still in a safe position, especially if they take it to OT.
Yeah, remember, Wolves and FaZe are playing.
And that is confirmed, by the way. Direwolves are safe as of this match.
As of this match, Direwolves are safe. Very nice. Do we already finish FaZe and Wolves?
Still ongoing.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil. I don't want to give any specific details. I don't want to spoil it. Don't have the multiple streams open. We'll worry about that when that game's over. But
you don't have to do that for me. I'll just ask Mandy and Dev what's going on. That's much easier. Plus, I love Dev just telling me anything because of his Australian accent. He's such a beautiful man. We have the same last name too, so I'm a little biased.
All right, well, let's focus up on this very important round. Who is going to get up to map point first? It's important to note this round will very much potentially decide if Mirage goes home or not. If Direwolves wins this round, that's guaranteed overtime, even if Mirage wins the next round, and that unfortunately means that Mirage are going home.
Man, a lot to do here, and fortunately enough for Mirage, they're keeping their wits about them. Souffle will actually be the first one dead. It won't be, I believe, Benji that was approaching from the gates here on the roof of this skyscraper. That Nitro cell gone from ED, and also Souffle, which is one of the most prominent players currently on Direwolves.
Let's see here now as Souffle goes down. Mirage feeling a bit safer about themselves, of course. Keep in mind the consistency that needs to be found by them, not only through this round, but the next one. Going to be able to open things up. It'll force the reposition away from the top stairs over by the office here. Now, Reaps will still stick around in the area, but not in direct contention to the wall opening, as that will still be accessible here by Mirage as they continue to look for ways to move forward. Direwolves, though, continuing to shuffle their own player base. ED downstairs, for example, now having to shift back up, playing into that staircase position in the event that Mirage pushed the angle they just breached out a few seconds ago.
Well, Dexter, he's the one who got the opener, but he won't get the follow-up. That'll be Reaps. He equalizes here. Remember how much this means. Every kill has serious weight behind it at this moment in time, and Reaps has 16 of them. He continues to lay out bodies around this map. Blood spurts from his opponents every single time he lays eyes on them. Be able to readjust here and keep himself alive inside of Dragon. We're going to jump on board with ED as he approaches from the rear. Black side stairs here. So he hasn't been able to get too much done. The drone will immediately suss him out. He's going to try and rotate away now, keeping himself alive.
Very, very cautious approach still from both teams here. Mirage with that control over towards Karaoke and T, but they're very desperately looking for this player downstairs. And they're going to catch him as well. Not only ED is caught, but Pika as well. Going to be tripped up upstairs here. Down to 2 now for the Direwolves roster. Reaps hiding over by Dragon. He's been revealed multiple times now. Shoots out that drone, so does give it away, but he's going to move his position as well. However, Dexter more than ready for the challenge as Reaps drifts just a little bit too close over by Rooving. It's just going to leave Jackie in the fight here now. Trying to survive in the 1v4, trying to lock in this elimination. They won't be able to do it on this round with the way things are looking here. Jackie gets 1, but loses about 80% of his HP in the process. Now trying to fight it out. He's got some intel onto the 2-stack deeper into the building. Can he take them out though? No, Dexter closes it down once again, and Mirage still stay in the fight for one more round.
That was impressive from Dexter there, but the thing we have to highlight is that read on Reaps. That was truly disgusting. The fact that he knew that there was a chance that he approaches from that angle and he's able to just slice him in half the first pixel he sees of him. That was really the round difference there. We've seen how crazy Reaps can keep these rounds. It's a good thing they shut him down when they had the opportunity. Mirage now guarantee overtime, but they need the regulation win, don't they, John?
Overtime does not make them safe. In fact, it eliminates them in this situation, even if they win it. So they need to win this round here. And again, still important to note that FaZe do need to lose their game over on the other stream. Focusing up, though, on the specifics of this round, that Oryx going to come back out again from Pika. He wants to get aggressive. He wants to get in the face of these players. Mirage want to play this one a little bit more safely, it seems. Going into even the intel operators here. Melted will go over towards the IQ, and Benji is going to bring out the Montaigne.
My friend, this is one of those moments. Every player that has ever played a video game competitively has always wanted a moment like this, a moment to prove yourself, a moment to separate the men from the boys, and it's right here. Mirage, can you get it done? You fought so hard throughout this entire game, but it stands right in front of your eyes. It's one round away. Mirage have their chances. It's only 9%, but it's right here, and it's right now. Direwolves have set up their defense, and it's quite the active one across the board. No 3 armors inside of this, and in fact, Pika will be bringing the exact opposite. A muscly man, but one that's quite quick with his dashes.
Let's see here how Mirage looks to close down. They're going to go once again into those expected positions to start things out, not stealing any immediate control away from the DW roster. As DW as well, probably going to give a lot of respect over to this one. They know that Mirage is going to look to lock this one down as quickly as possible, but also needs to be somewhat cautious in terms of how they approach it there. Micro EMP works its way out. The push coming in from Benji has not noticed this player from Direwolves to his left, I do believe. And as well, this is a dangerous setup here for these players to try to breach past because of those top-down angles. Direwolves are more than set up to shut this one down, and Jackie with a beautiful pre-fire absolutely decks Kento, giving them the first kill of this round.
That's the last thing that you want to hear Blue say if you're an NA fan right now. Kento has been the saving grace for Mirage, but they no longer have him. Mohesi now hops in, looking for a kill, looking for a home for this plant. Can he get it done? There's so many Direwolves members rotating around this map. I am scared for North America right now, John. Jackie Wu, he has the angle, and he has the glasses on. He can see through this smoke. He can prevent this plant. Mohesi, he stops Jackie Wu, but Reaps, he kills Mohesi. We need to get the case back in our control. Dexter will help with that. ED fires back. Direwolves ahead in the 3 versus 2. Souffle, eyes on one of our remaining players. It's really up to Melted here. Monty inside of a 1vX is one of the worst ops that you could potentially have, but he's fantastic in a post plant, let me tell you, and that's exactly what we're going to get. No logic bombs here for Melted. An EMP in the pocket of Benji, a smoke for Melted, and 39 seconds separate them from potential victory.
Melted with a beautiful shot against Souffle. Pika and ED, all that remains here now for the Direwolves. ED trying to work his way back into this one. Pika takes the fight outright, but it's a bait to try and get him out into the open. No, Benji survived it now. This is it. It should be unwinnable for ED now as he tries to move his way forward. Mirage may have been able to save themselves, but keep in mind they're at the mercy of FaZe going on to the other stream right now. This is just not going to happen for ED. No way he can work around this. Mirage, they're going to be closing this one down inside of regulation, 7-5 in their favor. Unfortunately though, ladies and gentlemen, I just got an update. This is a massive win for Mirage, but spoiler alert, give you a few seconds.
No way.
FaZe did close out their game in regulation versus the European Wolves on the other stream, which means regardless of this very nice victory from Mirage, they are sealed to be eliminated from this group.
Well, Jesse Mohesi, you did it. You got your win on LAN. I know it's not everything that you wanted, but I will say this, you guys played a fantastic Skyscraper. John, one for the history books, I would say. A very enjoyable game, especially given the circumstances of Direwolves winning the 7-3 up against FaZe yesterday.
Absolutely the case. It looks like the game on the other stream is coming to a close right now for you guys at home, so that's going to be about a 7-4 victory, I do believe, for FaZe against the European Wolves. And that makes it, although of course it does improve the odds for Mirage, it is now statistically impossible for them to catch up to second place and keep themselves in the running. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that does close out this game for now. We're going to go to a short break, and then we'll be back in a bit to break this one down.
Well, at least we won. I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do you do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. The second round of games for the third day of the groups here at the Jönköping Major has closed down. And although it is a successful match for Mirage, it is still an end to their run here due to the victory from FaZe over on the other stream against Wolves here. Mirage, it is now statistically impossible for them to eclipse the top two teams in the group. And as such, they have been eliminated. But still, let's talk a bit about this matchup. They were able to bring a big victory to the table where FaZe failed yesterday to do so against the Direwolves.
Yeah, for the most part of it was a Kento-powered team, as at one moment in time he was 12-6, but that's when the rest of the squad really started to step up to the plate, especially for Dexter, who has been absolutely killing it. He started off strong, kind of slowed down a bit, but once they got their back up against the wall and it really mattered, once Direwolves hit that round 5, he was activated and started playing so lights out. Amazing siege, and then obviously that last round with B-Money on the Monty, able to get things done, followed up with that Dokkaebi. It was really, really risky, but it paid off for Mirage.
And from the Direwolves, it was, for me at least, the usual suspects showing up to the table. Reaps, as usual, popping off in quite a few of these rounds, but actually being disrupted a lot more often due to the proficiency from Mirage. Like I was talking about in the pregame there, they had an opportunity to spec out these VODs from the Direwolves earlier on. They were probably noting how proficient this player was. And we were noting Reaps getting locked out quite often there, definitely contributing to Mirage having a lot more accessible playability deeper into those rounds. They didn't have to worry about that X-Factor clutch coming out from Reaps.
And what a highlight reel for this game. For both of these teams, so many magical moments like what you just saw there with that little death dance with Monty. Back and forth we went in this game, eventually getting things tied up at 5-5, and that's really where things started to become a problem for Direwolves.
Yeah, started to become an issue, and once again as well, really just could not stem the tide against Mirage, despite their best efforts to do so here. Once they shifted over to the defensive side, did kind of lose their aggressive edge, so to speak here, and the ability to control the pacing of these rounds. Led to quite a few situations where Mirage got the jump onto Direwolves and made it unwinnable for them to come back later on in the round.
Absolutely. The big thing that worked out for Direwolves on their defenses was keeping those teeth, keeping that bite, and I will say they kept that out in all of their defensive rounds. It was really Mirage just being able to stand tall amongst this squad and be able to take these fights confidently. They won out quite a few of them, and we even highlighted Dexter especially taking it to Reaps in the last couple of those rounds when it was needed most. We saw him, kind of tuck away inside of Dragon Statue and almost make a play up against Mirage that really could have decimated their chances, although obviously FaZe already did that, but Direwolves could have been the one to put them to bed. It just didn't happen.
There's the scores once again, ladies and gentlemen, in case you need to see the stats at home, where once again, we saw Dexter and quite a few of the other members of Mirage able to pop off inside of this matchup. Kento, of course, included that at 12-9, alongside the players from the Direwolves there, seeing Reaps going absolutely mental on his own regard, but I didn't realize how far ahead Reaps was still, even with the loss at 17-9, and Souffle, the second best in terms of frag capability, of course, at 10-6.
Really happy we got to see some stuff out of Souffle here today. Really enjoyed watching him play. Loved the Thorn pick as well. I think it worked out really well for them. Not only a great gun, but also a pretty interesting utility to throw in every once in a while.
We'll take a look at the group standings here in just a second as well. Important to note, while we mentioned there was an opportunity for the Direwolves to be eliminated in this matchup, it did rely on a few scores coming to fold, and that did not end up happening. So the Direwolves are still in play, still has an opportunity to eclipse out FaZe and potentially survive this group stage, as we'll have to wait for the final round of games in Group D to settle that and lock in our two teams for this play.
Man, you cannot ask for a better day of Rainbow Six Siege. Every match has weight to it on day 3 of groups. What a magical time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. The case has been very, very close to see, but we are starting to get to the tail end of it now, starting to get a little bit clearer in terms of who is at the top of the leaderboard. It's looking like Wolves may very well end up in that position. Depends on how FaZe does, I believe, in their final matchup, and Wolves as well, of course, if they can re-solidify things with those few extra points. But anyway, Wolves currently holds first place in this one. Direwolves still in the chase, but they're going to need to make sure that their next matchup is a solid one. Otherwise, they too will be finding themselves in an elimination position.
Well, you want the fun part of that conversation?
What's up?
Guess who plays who?
Who?
Oh, well, it's going to be FaZe versus Mirage, who can be the gatekeepers if Direwolves can beat Wolves, or the EU Wolves, or whatever wolves you want to call them. Just know that they're wolves. They're from Europe, and they're pretty damn good at Rainbow Six Siege. They're the #1 team out of Europe. It's going to be a tall ask for Dire Wolves, but, I mean, hey, man, when you look up, like this last game here, right, there's always a chance, and that's really what matters. If you can try and imbue your gameplay with something like Mirage did, just utter confidence, just throw everything else out the window, that anxiety, all that kind of stuff, it really doesn't do anything for you. Play your game and play for the win. That's what Mirage got here, and that's what we could have later on today in this group. It's been a fun one here, folks. Thank you for coming along for this ride. Congratulations to Mirage for getting their first victory on LAN outside of North America. We're going to send it to a quick break, and we'll be back later with some more Siege action.